What's up, Jay Bird? It looks like it might be just you and me and the autopilots.
What's going on?
Doing good. What you up to?
Trying to get this Carlos puppy to shut up. It's chewing on this loud, annoying toy. Other than that, we're good.
Cool, man. So
Yeah.
you're not in Oklahoma then?
No,
How's that going?
no. The K River.
No, you're Oklahoma built.
Oh, it's been a kick in the teeth it's raining like every 3 days, so we're just trying to tame the mud. Um, but we should be open phase one April 1st. And the casino across the street is expecting to like triple the amount of people over that weekend for that solar eclipse. So should be a good little launch weekend.
Yeah, man, you're killing
Yeah,
it. You're just flying through developing those little parks. How many spots is it?
we're starting with 25. We're gonna end up with 70.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
I
it's
forgot you
been
phased it out. That's right. So you can open with 25 quick, get the cash flow coming in, and then is that going to fund the rest, or is there other funding for the rest?
the funding for the rest is there part via local bank loan. Um,
Okay.
it's that one. It seemed like the play was just get open because it's just an awareness play. We got a billboard down the street, and just need to let folks know when they go the next time they go to the casino, bring their RV.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, I sent a couple of messages hoping everybody saw it was earlier today. I'm not
Yeah.
sure if other people are at work or if they're just running a little bit late, but we'll just give it a couple of minutes and see if a couple more people pop in.
Cool.
There's Mason. I haven't seen him in a while. Mason Brown. Welcome back, my man. I don't know if you're talking, you're muted. Audio is being difficult. Lousy audio. I was hoping to have a big group in today because I had kind of planned on more of a discussion than any kind of a class today. But if we don't get some people to pop in here in a minute to carry on a bigger discussion, I'll go in and I've got a bunch of classes loaded up. So I'll go through and I'll ask you two guys which ones are good for y'all, and we'll cover those. So we'll give everybody 2 more minutes. We'll give them until 3:06. We'll get some more people to pop in. We'll just pop over and start doing a class. Does that sound good?
Sounds good.
While we're giving everybody a chance to come in, are there any, Mason? Let me see. I'll open up the chat. There's Doug Davis coming on in. I'll open up the chat. Mason, is how you been doing? Have you been able to get through some videos and such? Just finished all the videos. Awesome. Did you learn anything? Oh yeah, very good, very good. Have you been able to, Mason? Have you started doing any of the actions, making a list for one? Not yet. All right. So anybody who's just joined in, Doug, welcome. We have Mason's here, but his audio is not working, so I'm talking through him through chat right now. And we're giving everybody a couple of minutes to kind of get in since it's a different time than usual. Okay. Mason, is there anything that any part of the videos you watched or any of the courses that you had questions or would like me to go into deeper? Because like I said, I was planning on I was hoping it was going to be a larger group today. I had more of a discussion in mind, but with a smaller group, I think it'd be better if I teach something specific. So Mason, is there anything that you've gone through that you really like me to dig in on and we can just go over it together as a group? Not off the top of your head. Okay, no problem. We won't pressure you to come up with what to teach. Well, we have a couple people here. One of the things I wanted to do, like I said, I was hoping to have a bigger group and have more like a discussion a little bit. One of the things that I see happen all the time, all the businesses I've started, all the other entrepreneurs that I've worked with over the years seem to go through, we all go through the same paths. And I mean, whether it be people that are starting huge companies, running big companies, little entrepreneurial type stuff. And we all kind of go through the same thing. It's kind of 4 stages, and I call it uninformed optimism, informed pessimism, the valley of despair, and then climb to success. And so I know a lot of people have been in for a while, been actually getting deals going, getting deals started. I'm growing, you're growing, all of us are going through these stages, even though it might seem we're at different time periods or anything like that. Everybody's going through the same stages, and I wanted to kind of talk about it a little bit. And that uninformed optimism is whenever you don't know what you don't know. It's what I call when everybody's a spreadsheet millionaire, everything's going to go right. Everything is, rosy and it looks good. And we'll let Lisa jump in here real quick.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now, Mason. Welcome to the show.
Hey, I guess I didn't have to jump off. All of a sudden, it just worked.
And Lisa's headed out to the club. You're on mute. You're on mute. We can't hear you.
Night. I had to get ready before the call.
You got to get your Valentine's date, huh?
You didn't recognize me with makeup and my hair done.
It's wonderful. Very good. So what I was talking about is, all entrepreneurs go through these different kind of stages, even at more advanced levels, beginner, intermediate, everybody kind of goes through these levels. And I was just kind of going over them, and I wanted to kind of talk about where a lot of people are. I know I'm in it too, at my level, trying to get to the next level always. In uninformed optimism is that rosy part at the beginning, and everything is possible. Everything is probability. Everything is possibility. And so we really enjoy that part. That's the funnest part until you get to the very end. And so the funnest part, it looks real great. You're happy about it. You're excited. You tell all your family. And then the next part you get to is informed pessimism. And this is whenever you start to realize there's a lot of things that, somebody didn't do what they said they were going to do. Something fell apart. Some funding didn't work out. Something broke. You get hurt. You get sick. A family member gets sick. One of your partner's family members gets sick and can't participate anymore. All different kinds of things happen. And so you start off at the top and you start really high, and then you start to hit this heading downward type slope where you're feeling really pessimistic, and because you realize you're informed now that there's a lot harder times, there's a lot harder work to do. And then what happens is we get past that, we get into what I call the valley of despair. And this is whenever it seems like nothing is going to work ever at all. Now you're not just pessimistic, you're starting to question everything about it. We start to look at all of the negative, and then our mind starts to get stuck in. It's that reticular activating system I talk about all the time. It's this filter, and it tells your brain what to go look for. So like whenever we start off our day with some sort of a gratitude practice, any kind of gratitude practice, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever it is, read a gratitude list. Think to yourself what you're thankful for. Think about your family, whatever good stuff is going to make you feel grateful, that set your reticular activating system for the entire day to go out and look for all this good stuff, to look for the good, positive things in your life. Well, once we get to this valley of despair, it feels like we don't even know how to access that part of our brain. It just feels like nothing's ever going to go right again. And it just feels like that. It doesn't matter that the same story is still happening all the way through. Nothing has really changed but our viewpoint. Our viewpoint of uninformed optimism, the situation was still the same. Our viewpoint of informed pessimism, the situation is still the same. It's a view of it and our understanding of it, even into the valley of despair. So what most entrepreneurs do is before we get to that third or the fourth phase, where we're climbing out of the valley of despair and we're really just keep putting in the work and keep putting in the work, and we keep making incremental steps every day. One step forward is a step forward. Even a small step forward, even the tiniest step forward is still a step forward. And so that's how climb happens. That's how that climb out of the valley of despair into the success. That's how it happens. And so what most people do, and I've done this, this is me talking about what I've done plenty of times. Start out a business, uninformed optimism, everything's great, starts to get hard, wind up in the valley of despair. I want to go back to that really great feeling. I want to have all that optimism again. So let's start something else and be uninformed optimists again at something else. And that's the pattern that almost all entrepreneurs go through until sometime, some way, somehow, some person is in your life, some different situation, some different motivation, some goal, some why gets you through the valley of despair, keeps you going through the climb, and you reach the success part. And I've been I'll just go into some personal stories about myself. Today, the whole entire day, I've been working on some of my Hawaii properties. So if you don't know about the Hawaii properties that I had, it was the same thing. Everything seemed great. It was optimistic, and you start off high, and then you get down to the valley of despair, and it seems like you're never going to be able to pay the bills. You're never going to be able to sell another property. You're never going to be able to even get another lead. But if you keep doing those same actions every day, that's what I did. I just made those same actions every day. I still made the posts. I still made the phone calls. I still showed up to the appointments. And it eventually wound up. I thought at the very beginning, I thought if I have 6 of these properties, man, I am set for life. This is going to be it. 6 of these properties, I'm going to be awesome. And I wound up by keeping pushing, keeping going, keeping those little tiny steps forward, those little tiny incremental steps every single day. That's how I got to where I had eventually almost 100 of those properties. Had about 60, down to about 54 right now. But my whole point is we can't get stuck in that valley of despair or start over. And the way to keep or to get out of that valley of despair, because we all go through it. Every entrepreneur that I've ever talked to has gone through it. Most of us start over because we want that good feeling again. But you can get that good feeling again on the success part. And that's where the optimism comes back. When you start to get to the top, you start to see, because when you're climbing a hill, think about this is literal and figurative. If you're climbing a hill, the higher you go, the further you can see. When you're in the valley of despair, you don't see anything else. You don't see any positivity. You don't see any success because it's way up top of the hill. You cannot see it. But every single step, you're going up, and you're getting more of the view of success. You're getting more of a view of the larger picture. And so with that being said, a lot of people are in the middle, just like me, where some parts of our projects feel like we're in the valley of despair. So I wanted to take this time today. I didn't have something specific like a course to talk about. I wanted to take it and have it be a little bit more like a family meeting, like a dump session, like a let's get out the bullshit. Say it, So I want to give people a chance that if you've got something, it could be me, it could be your family, it could be yourself, it could be your dog. I don't care. It could be DMV, whatever it is that's putting you into the valley of despair, or if you're at the pessimism stage, any of those kind of things, get it out. Don't let it sit in your brain. And this is going to be an open time where it can be about anything. And like I said, it might be me. And if it is, bring it on. Dump it on me. Dump it out. Because if it's going to sit there in your brain, you're not going to sleep. You're not going to eat right. You're not going to exercise. You're going to give yourself cancer. Okay? So this is our time. This is our family meeting to dump out the bullshit. And sorry, I don't think anybody in here is too sensitive for those words, but if you are, I apologize. But anyway, I'll let anybody that wants to go first go first. Go ahead, Lisa. I see you raising your hand. Go ahead. And this is for nobody to respond to, nobody to say anything to. This is for you to just dump and for us to all hear it and accept it and let you dump.
Yeah, I got so much. So I was like, oh, let me just get this out because I was just last night like to my husband. So I'll let y'all listen too. But I did want to say one quick thing about the Valley of Despair and all that. Being in sales for so many years, when I would get like that down, like where you just feel like you can't sell anything else, my boss would kick me out of the car and say, cold call your way back to the office and you'll have their attitude. And I always did. And somebody always says yes after that. So you just got to keep on going. And I've known that for 35 years, but it's like every day picking yourself back up again. Right now I'm working with two different developers. One of them is the kind that is like super awesome, optimistic, and everything's going to be ready and we're not going to have any problems with zoning. And he's like at that level where he's the optimistic, like not naive part of it. And then I've got my other developer down here in Alabama. We just had a stop work order put on our property. We're supposed to open in October. I'm still trying to sell lots. And the people, like the buyer that I met this morning is like, there is no way this land is going to be ready by October. And, so we're in the Valley of Despair down here, down here in Alabama. And this project would, I did just make a really big sale. I sold $563,000 contract for 7 lots, which was my biggest investor purchase so far into the resort, which is great. So that's like a high for me. And then at the same time, I'm like, I've got other people saying, when are we going to see a rendering or a drawing or a building or a road or whatever? And I'm like, I have no idea. And I don't even know when we can even start working again. So I've just got like all these highs and lows coming at me from both angles. And I try not to take my pessimistic Alabama brain and put it on my optimistic Tennessee person and try to find a happy, rein them in a little bit. Like, I don't want the same thing to happen to you kind of a phase. But at the end of the day, it's all on my shoulders to sell it. So it's just like very up and down. And I know it'll all work out in the end, but definitely emotional roller coaster every day for sure.
Thank you for
it.
sharing that with us, Lisa. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's an emotional roller coaster. I promised I wouldn't comment. It's not for anybody, like I said, to respond or comment. This is your time to dump. So I see, Travis, you have your hand raised. Are you ready to take a dump?
Sure. My dump is on Doug. I just want to say you've been doing a really good fucking job, and you need to keep up the good work. That's my gripe. Other than that, I wish I was a better underwriter. How about that?
You wish you were a better underwriter?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wish I had more deals. That's my gripe. I need more deals and money. I need more money.
Keep talking, Travis.
Keep talking.
There's more in there.
There's more in there. Well, I mean, I wrote another article for LinkedIn, so that kind of sucks.
No, dump still. There's more dump in there.
There's more dump in there?
Yep.
I don't know, man. That's all I got. That was it.
I think you missed the first part. What I was saying is this is a family meeting. This is your chance to get it out and not let it be in your brain, not let it keep you from sleeping. And even if you think you're sleeping, you're probably not sleeping as well as you could if there's something in there. Anything else in there, Travis?
Well, I just don't sleep well in general, so I don't know what I can blame that on. The military guys might understand.
Yeah, I do. So while we're talking about that, I do a thing called New Calm. anybody who's having trouble sleeping, it's NuCalm, NU Calm. It's this neurological music that you listen to, and it was developed by a genius, pretty much. This neuroscientist who developed this music to help veterans with comorbidities of PTSD and substance abuse. And it was to help them get over this PTSD and be able to get into more of a relaxed state. And so that changed my sleep completely. I went through probably 10 years that I couldn't sleep more than 2-3 hours at a time. I mean, I was up, like awake. And it really just wears on your health. It wears on your personality, your family, all that kind of stuff. So that's one of the reasons, like I was saying, I want this to be a time. This is a place where you can come and dump some stuff and really just let it out. What's stressing you out? What's going on? So if there's anything else, Travis, we can come back to it later. Okay, bud. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'll go, Alex.
Go ahead, Mason.
So I disappeared there for a while, probably close to 2 months, and it was just something about the holidays coming up, and I decided to kind of take a break, spend some more time with the kids and the family, and then I think everything just kind of hit me with leaving my job and doing all that stuff, and I just got in a funk. Like, I was struggling with everything. I was struggling with the trading, with the coursework here, and my other mastermind, and it was dumb. It took some resetting to get back into things, and I mean, I really had to kind of look at what the heck I was doing, and it got pretty frustrating there for a while, but I got to a point where I finally decided I need to think back to what the heck I was doing before I got in that funk, and that really helped out a lot because it brought me back to my basics, my core, kind of getting back into a routine and a rhythm. And instead of trying to have like these perfect days and all of this, it ties into what you were talking about a little bit before, where it's just like progress over perfection. I mean, even if it's not the perfect step, who cares? Just take one step forward, even if it's a stumbling step. And it took a while. I thought kind of stepping away from everything would kind of help me out, but I feel like that was probably the opposite of what I should have done. But thankfully, I came through everything and getting back on the pony and cracking into books again and reading again. Like the one I'm reading right now that I really like is Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod, and that's been a pretty big piece this last week of kind of getting me woken back up and getting things rolling again the way they should be versus sitting here getting in my own head all day long. So yeah, good to be back and getting stuff done finally.
Man, we are so glad to have you back. I keep seeing your name on the list every week, and then not making it to the call and going, what is going on with him? I hope he makes it back. I'm really glad you're back. Let's talk about that book for a minute. I love that book. It's a lot of what I was just talking about, having that gratitude setting in the morning. Have you kind of gotten to that part, or are you doing any of that?
Yeah, I went back in my old journals and realized that a big piece of what was in that book was stuff that I was doing. It's just I let it slip, and then it just kind of disappeared out of my dome. So doing the gratitude in the morning, I'm exercising in the morning and doing kind of like a meditation prayer thing in the morning. Gonna start working on a vision board. I got to start getting notes for that so I can get that up and going. So that way, instead of just having words on a piece of paper that say my goals, like having that more visual aspect of it, which again was good going through the training because that was an excellent reminder in the training about vision boards and doing that. So, yeah, definitely digging into what's it called? The savor portion of Miracle Morning for sure.
Very good. Yeah, the gratitude part to me is the most important thing. And the days I don't do it, it's a different day. It's a different, hey, you got the vision board there, Lisa? You're muted. You're muted.
I said, yep, that's mine right there. It says right by my desk. And
Let's see what you got on there.
it just says, know your worth, have faith. This is all of my goals for the year. And pray more, worry less, travel, and occasional upsets can make for a bumpy ride. See the good in every situation. And I've got do things that bring you joy. And all my visions for this year, I do it every year. It sits right by my desk, even in my RV.
Very good. I love it. Jason, I heard you were about to pop in there a minute ago. Are you ready to go next?
Yeah, I gotta leave at 3:30. This thinking meeting I couldn't reschedule.
Okay.
But I mean, all I would say is that it's kind of like the way I look at it, it's kind of like a blessing and a curse, is because I just got my head down and just charging through. So it's like I don't pay too much attention to stuff that's wearing me down, because I just go and like failure's not an option kind of mindset, and it's just kind of a pushing through. So it definitely pushes things to the side that you like self-care and other stuff. Um, but I don't know. I guess it's a little hard-headed mindset I got going on right now.
Well, as long as that hard-headed mindset is to keep moving forward, which is what it sounds like you're doing.
Yeah,
And I know on every
yeah,
call that we've had, whenever we come up with some issue, it doesn't even phase you. You don't even pause about it. You're like, okay, so what do we got to do? I've never heard you get upset about any of it. And you and I've had on two of these projects, all kinds of ups and downs and sideways and crazy stuff happen. And every single time you just go, okay, well, what do we got to do? What do we got to do to fix it? What's next? And so you're doing really well at that.
yeah. And the downside is that you just kind of push other things down, and like I should be spending more time at the golf course or with family and friends and different things like that. But I pre-programmed this little voice in my head that says nobody cares, figure it out.
That's right. They always say, doesn't do any use to complain. And it's like, well, you can complain, but nobody's going to listen. And it's not going to help anything.
hmm
But even with that being said, like I said, I wanted to open this up and have a time to kind of dump out. See, we got Doug Davis still. Now, Doug is really good at venting already. Can you dump a little bit, Doug?
I got nothing today.
Nothing. Already emptied it out last night.
Yeah, I emptied it last night.
Emptied the tank. How you feel today?
Good. I mean, I think venting is good. If you have a good team that you can vent to, and they don't take it personally, I think venting is good just to get everything out. And then part of the venting process is you learn, or you get these light bulbs that go off that give you other ideas on how to fix things, or something else can be done to work on to fix what you were actually venting about. So
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll dump a little bit, and all the dumping that I'm doing is my own fault. The stuff that I'm going through right now is mistakes that I've made, little tiny things that I missed that turned into huge problems. Like on some of our deals, I thought we had an escrow until June. So I put that property off and I had it in my schedule with other properties in front of it. And then Doug comes and points out to me, he said, hey man, what are you doing? We got to close this thing in April. And I'm like, no, not till June. So now I stress out Doug, I stress out the rest of the team, I stress out myself. Now I got to go get the company formed quicker. I got to pay more money for the company to be formed quicker, expedited. Got to pay more for the 506. Got to draw in an investor quicker. And all of that was my own mistakes. So that's whenever it gets to that informed pessimism where you're like, oh crap, not even as good as I thought I was. I really thought that I was just totally optimistic. Everything was going to be blue skies the whole way. No, it's not always even that, your partner gets sick or somebody else doesn't do what they're supposed to do. Sometimes it's, I didn't do what I was supposed to do. I didn't dig through and really read every single thing as well as I should have to understand exactly different points of like a PSA, for example. You know, that's what the example was in this one. I didn't look through the PSA deep enough. I saw the closing date. I go, got till June on that one, or July, I think. Yeah, we're good. We got plenty of time. I'll put that one in the schedule to where we'll start all these other things that need to be done. And now all those things need to be done in a very short amount of time. You know, and then, you know, there are parts where people decide they're not going to work with you anymore. I got a partner that just pulled out on me. Just completely said, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm at an age where I've got a couple of properties and those are going to pay me into my retirement. And, you know, I got this new girlfriend and I'd rather just hang out with her and spend time. So I'm not going to be doing any more work with you. Totally out of nowhere. Had no idea that was coming. No idea that was coming. And I tell you what, that, you know, all this stuff that I'm telling you, it's not like I'm perfect at it either. I spent the whole morning like sitting on my bed, like, what the hell am I gonna do? I mean, like, what the hell am I gonna do? That's just over. That whole part of what I was working on just completely cut off. Just completely cut off. And affects other deals because, you know, this is a partner. This is somebody that you're working with, that you have like software with, that you have companies with, that you have bank accounts with. And so now, instead of working on the stuff to grow and grow, I'm like scrambling to keep it all together. But look at, I cannot express to you how much growth has come from that in like 10 days. Like being put under that stressful situation where I had to get it done. There's just no option. What am I just going to quit? Screw everybody else and I'll just quit too? I mean, I have my properties in Hawaii. They can still pay me and I can be doing the same thing. I can just go on some vacations, you know, post a couple of times a week and make sure that those properties stay filled. But stepping forward is really the way to get out of that valley of despair. And basically what that would be doing is if I just kind of gave up on everything and said, oh, I'm just going to chill out too, get to that valley of despair, and then try to go back to the optimistic part, go back to the beginning where I'm starting over, where everything's great before it gets to the hard part. Got another situation. Same thing about these Hawaii properties. One of the things I've been doing is I've had people making me offers for years. Let me just buy you out of those properties. And I've always said, no, it's been a nice little income. I could just, you know, kind of have that and be able to spend all of my time focusing on RV parks. And it's come to where one of my guys that was over there, that was helping me with it, died. Another guy got sick. He can't work anymore. Another guy got deported. So slowly, over the past, 8 months, that's all the structure, all the infrastructure, all the people that were helping and working and getting paid. They've been getting paid the whole time. I've been paying them and helping them. And as they go away, parts of the structure get weaker. And so that kind of put me into the valley of despair where I'm like, how am I going to make this work? Now I got to find somebody else who did. You know how hard it is to find somebody in Hawaii, different time schedules. They live off grid, which means they definitely don't have internet. They barely have phones sometimes. And I got to communicate with them. A lot of times the guys that I can even get to work barely even, I mean, they don't have bank accounts. Like one of the guys I was working with, no bank account. I can't even send him money. I can't Venmo him money. There's no way to make things happen. And so I'd have to like call somebody else that was his cousin, send them with him to go to the bank. And then the other cousin has to give him a ride. And so that, you know, all of that was putting me in the valley of despair. Sure enough, just by keeping moving forward and keeping talking to different, you know, real estate investors, storage guys, every kind of guy on earth that's doing these kind of deals, up pops one of my guys. He goes, you got what? You got 50 acres in Hawaii and I could just buy the whole entire thing off you? I was like, yes, you can. And so we started talking about it. It turns out we met this morning. He goes, yeah, put it together. Let's talk about it this afternoon at 2 o'clock. So I go home and I start digging. I start going through all the contracts. I go through all the spreadsheets. I get everything together in this humongous presentation, get on the phone with him. He's ridiculously impressed with the presentation. He's like, you put this together like today with all of this information? Yeah, I just put this together. And he goes, well, I'm really sorry, but I misunderstood when we were talking this morning. I thought it was this kind of thing, and it's this kind of thing, and that I'm just not the right guy for that. I mean, it's a really great deal for the person it's a right deal for. They're going to make $1 million. They're going to make $1 million in about 10 months. And it's going to cost them about 200,000 to get into it, and they're going to make $1 million. And so he's like, this is an awesome, awesome deal. And I never would have put together the package. And even though he didn't it's not good for him. He's walked away from it. I would have never put together the package in that way to show that a builder could buy these. I've been saying for years, I don't understand why a builder doesn't just buy these off of me, because I'll sell them cheap. They can go in and just build these little tiny homes and sell them for like 150, 200,000 each. One of those tiny homes only costs 20, 30,000 to build. I'm selling the lot for 5,000. You can come pick up 40 of these at a time, go make $1 million. And so I didn't ever put it together. So that stress that I was under of not knowing what to do, kind of scrambling, made me talk to more people. And then talking to this guy helped me to force myself to do it all today, to get it done. Because he was like, let's talk about it today at 2 o'clock. I was like, okay, there's a deadline. Now I have to get it done. So now that I have that whole presentation done, while I was doing it, 2 other people popped in my mind, and I go, oh, that guy's a builder. He wants to do tiny homes. He's asked about Hawaii before. He's got a 1031 for $2 million right now. So these stressful situations, that valley of despair, that it should keep you motivated. And a lot of times it'll stir up what we feel like are problems, what we feel like are stress, but it'll stir up some sort of a feeling that can keep us moving forward. The big thing is never go back to that uninformed optimism. Never go back to that warm, safe, cozy bed. You get out of bed and it's cold, and you can just climb right back in that nice little optimistic area, start a new thing. And that's the kiss of death. That's the entrepreneurial circle, just round and round, round and round. So excited, gets harder, valley of despair, back to the beginning. So excited, gets harder, valley of despair. And so stay out of that circle, and the way to do it, just like we've been talking about, is one step forward. Even the tiniest step forward is still a step forward. All right, so that's enough of me preaching a little bit. Anybody else have any comments? I have a little video and I've played it before, but anybody else have any comments before I play that? All right, well, let me do this then. Let me go and play this for everybody. Whenever you're in the valley of despair, whenever you're having these issues, whenever you're having problems, this is the video that I go back to, and this is the mentality that I go back to, and I hope it works well for you guys too.
One of my direct subordinates, one of my guys that worked for me, he would call me up or pull me aside with some major problem.
Good. I like that. Partner quit on you? Good. Go find better ones. And sure enough, found better ones right away. Investor pulls out? Good. You go find another investor. It's going to put in 3 times as much money. This is the situations I'm going through. So I'm just sharing with y'all. Like I said, I wanted y'all to dump. I'm doing it too. As a family meeting where we can get it all out and let you know that other people are going through the same things, most likely. And we've all been through this cycle. Almost all of us have gone through that cycle and started over, get down, start over. I've been saying it over and over and over. I keep saying it, that little tiny step forward every single day is what gets you to that top of that hill. That's how you get that success. He's talking about get out there and go back on the attack, regroup at the bottom where there's all that stress and misery and you don't think it's going to work. That's the time to regroup and go back on the attack, charge up the hill. And that's how you get up out of the valley, charging up the hill. All right. Well, like I said, this was more of a discussion today. Any value in any of this for anybody today? Good. Good value, Travis. Thanks, Doug.
I think
All
it's
right.
really good. I think that was really good, Alex, because it's good to like. I feel like so many times we see everything is perfect in everyone's social media and their worlds, and we think we're the only person that's going through whatever it is that we're going through. So thank you for sharing that with me. And you're lucky that I wasn't on this last night because you would have heard what my husband heard for 3 hours. But
Oh,
it was
we'll
great,
just say a
guys.
prayer for him and his sanity and his sleep.
Thank you.
Good. All right. Like I always tell y'all, this is your time. This is your mastermind. I'm just here facilitating anything anybody wants to talk about. I know it's Valentine's Day. I'm willing to let everybody out early for recess if there's nothing anybody wants to talk about. But this is your time. I'm here for you. All right, guys. Mason, it's really great to have you back. Please keep coming back. I know it gets tough. Come back, bud. We're here. All right. I know this was a different kind of a call tonight. It's not, straight. It's not about RV parks. It's not about, deals and funding. If I was 60s, it's not all that learning and stuff. And I really hope everybody understands and remembers how important all of this part is to us, because all of that other knowledge that we're learning, all of the details of how to form a syndication and talk to investors and what due diligence and underwriting, all of these details don't matter if us, me, our person, the person that you can control, the only person you can control, the single only person that you can control the actions of, me, if I'm not okay, then all of that other stuff doesn't matter. If you're not okay, all of that other stuff doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you know. It doesn't matter what you know if you can't put it into action because you're too stuck in whatever it is in that valley of despair. So I really hope this helps you guys. I will see y'all next week. I love you guys. Have a great Valentine's Day.